Do you have this number 9 wine of the year? The list just came out this morning. The number 10 wine of the year. What wine of the year? The list. The list. You know what I'm talking about. The big list. The top 100 list. Hi, I'm Larry Baker. I'm a certified level 2 sommelier and a senior wine and spirit specialist for ABC Fine Wine and Spirits right here in beautiful downtown North Miami, Florida. This is the time of the year, as you're reading or watching this video today, Wine Spectator magazine, for their famous top 100 wines of the year, for cork dorks and insiders like me, but there's other ways to Google it now. They start to release on Monday, today, when you're watching this video. If that's the day you're watching it, they will be releasing the number 10 wine of the year and the number 9 wine of the year, and then they go so on, the 8 and the 7, the 6 and the 5, and finally by the end of the week, you'll know not only the number 1 wine of the year selected by Wine Spectator senior editors, but you'll also know the top 100 wines of the year. And all of those wines go by a point system, and there are many famous reviewers. There's Wine Spectator reviewers as senior editors. Then there's Robert Parker's magazine that he used to write for, and writes occasionally for, but not owned by him anymore, the Wine Advocate. And there's International Wine Cellar, and there's James Suckling. And all of this works on a 100-point system, where they say a fair wine is in the 80s, and in the 90s it's really out. You know, when it's 95, it's a classic wine or outstanding. And I say poppycock to all of that stuff with wine. What makes a wine? You could have wines that are $8.99 and delicious, and somebody rates them because of their palate. They say that's 90 point. And then there's a wine that's also $400 a bottle that also rates 90 point. And maybe I tell you that there's a wine, or somebody tells you wine. We even have a special section at all our ABC stores for wines that are rated. It's called the 90s Club. And it's a good guideline. All this point system might be some sort of help to a consumer, okay? These are wines that are rated 90 points and above, and they go into that club, and I have a few examples of them. But what does all of that mean? What does that mean to you, the wine consumer? You know, I'm recommending a wine. This is another magazine or a reviewer recommending a wine. So if the wine rates 96 point, you buy that wine that was rated the number 1 wine of the year. But if you don't personally like that wine, that's not in your flavor profile, the wine gets 0 points, no matter what somebody else said. So that's why the point system basically comes down to, it's a bunch of marketing garbage. It does help sell wine, and it's a guideline. But when you have someone by me, I'm not saying I'm the god of wine, and you shouldn't listen to me. I'm going to guide you based on your palate. Many of the wines I recommend, and as a good sommelier should recommend, are wines that we would never even go near, you know, because I don't even drink them, but I can tell you that they meet the palate that you describe, or the purpose of the wine, or the person's wine the person that you're going to give the wine, that palate. That's all that matters. So point system, 90s clubs, top 100 wines from Wine Spectator. I'll give you the perfect example that I give a lot of people. Last year, the number 1 wine of the year for 2017 was chosen the 2014 vintage of Duckhorn. Duckhorn, we all know the name Duckhorn from Napa Valley, but their single vineyard, Three Palms Vineyard Merlot. The wine was not 100% Merlot. It was very, to me personally, on the usual Napa Valley sugary side, and it maybe was a lot of people's palates, okay? But I have here right behind me my favorite vintage, the 2012. This is a Ned Bergevin Amber Lane from Bergevin Lane Vineyards that I talk about all the time. This is a single vineyard. The Stone Tree Vineyard in the Wahluke Slope of Washington State, where I think the Merlot is superior. And plus, this is a 100% Merlot. 100% Merlot, and it's a single vineyard Merlot. All right, so we have single vineyard, we have Merlot versus Merlot. This is a 90-point rated wine as well. A 90-point rated wine by a couple of them, I believe Wine Enthusiast gave this wine a 90 point. I give it a 92, but again, this is all numbers in the system. So we have that Merlot okay, a single vineyard, 100% Merlot, versus what Wine Spectator magazine chose as their #1 wine of the year, a single vineyard, the Three Palms Vineyard, not 100% Merlot, other grapes blended in, a little to me on the sugary side, but rated like 93, 94 point, and was selected as #1 wine of the year. Okay, but let's say you like both of those palates. Okay, you like both the Washington State wine or you like the California wine. Okay, they both say Merlot, they would both be listed under Merlot. But that, because of the name Duckhorn and it's Napa Valley and it's single vineyard, that wine was anywhere from $90 to $100 in a retail store if you could locate that wine. I'm sitting here with 100% Merlot that also received 90 point from Washington State that I think is better balanced and more typical of the Merlot grape, and it's also a 90 point wine, but it's on sale for $21.99. Somebody out there, I've had heated debates on the internet with my colleagues who disagree and say this wine is worth it, and the only answer they can give me why it's worth it is because it's a name brand that everybody knows, and it's from Napa Valley. Is that a reason? Because it's from Napa Valley, because that's the so-called wine country, that I need to pay $100 more to get a good bottle that meets my palate, and it's rated the #1 wine of the year. So of course, Wine Spectator. But if you like sweet wines, you like drier wine, then that wine, 90 points, #1 wine of the year, it means absolutely nothing to you. And for further example here, both of these wines are great wines. This is from Bordeaux, France, the Chateau Carignan Prima, only made on the best year. 100% Merlot, 100% Merlot. I tell you, they're both great. But to a customer that likes dry wines and likes the taste of more oak and more tannins, I'm going to give you that wine. They both would be listed under Merlot, but somebody who likes more fruit and more explosive wild flavors of berries and spices and jam and all that kind of raspberry cherry going on, I'm going to recommend this. They're both in the same price range, but they're both called Merlot. What difference if I say these are two great wines? It's what your taste likes. You may hate this Merlot, or vice versa. You may love this Merlot or hate this Merlot and like this style of Merlot. They're both Merlots. So we go back to all of those wines. Yet, if you said I just like a really fruity, silky wine, I may give you this. Based on grapes, we reviewed that. I gave a written review for this wine, FYI, by Felix Solis Avantis out in Spain. This is 60% Tempranillo, and it's 20% Cabernet Sauvignon and 20% Merlot from Spain, from Valdepeñas, a little south of Madrid. And that wine, the FYI, is only $12.99. I gave that wine 90 point, but it's only a $12.99 wine, but yet the 90-point wine that was #1 wine of the year and maybe in the 90s club rated 90 point is $118. What good is it if you don't like the wine? I have a beautiful Chianti Classico from Pajarino. Love this wine to death, always the clinging of the bottles. 2015, this is a Reserva from Pajarino, 100% Sangiovese, 96 points, Wine Spectator. And it's $41.99, and it's amazing, but it's not amazing. I'm going to finish up with a gentleman that actually came in here and went around with one of those Vivino apps. That's another thing that drives me crazy. These are other people's palates, not yours, the only one that counts. So he actually just would only take wines that got 5 stars or 5 points or whatever it is on that phone app, and he went around and he returned that bottle of wine because he compared it. He said, I had a Whitehall Lane Cabernet Sauvignon that said 5 stars when I went from Napa Valley, in the same kind of price point that I scanned with my phone app, and it said 5 stars. And then I came around in your Italian section and I saw that this rated 5 stars, but this I wouldn't serve because it was too dry and it had too much acidity and it had too much tannin, and yet the other one was pleasing. So I'm returning this one. I don't understand why Vivino gave it 5 stars. Well, they're both in their own categories, but it's like saying I give an apple, 5 stars or 90 points, but I also give a piece of roast beef 90 points also, but you're a vegetarian, so what good is the 90 points for the roast beef when you need an orange? You get it? So the point system is a good guideline. The 90-point club that we have here, the top 100 wine, don't go crazy searching it. You're going to get gouged on the internet, but it's a good guideline to read my notes or read somebody's palate, your note, but it's only that, a guideline. The only thing that matters is the wine is in the price budget you want and your personal taste. That is the 100-point wine. Nothing else matters. For further information about either the top 100 wines, you can contact me and I'll give you information. I just got somebody requested at an Italian restaurant, a neighbor of mine said, please, I read your blog, and showed me a picture of the wine list, and boom, I made a recommendation. So you can always follow my blog to get more information, or go to our website, abcfws.com. You could also order some of these wines where there's information online by going to our website, buy online, and pick up the order in store. So that's where you find out that. Remember, enjoy reading the list as a guideline, but wine is not for snobs. It's for everyday people like you and me, and the only points that matter are your personal palate. I'll see you next time.